You have been traveling the country for a while. You want to tell us about where you've been, how long you've been going, and what you're doing?
Yeah. Well, this summer I spent a month, went through Texas, went to New Orleans, Baton Rouge, through Georgia, and then went through Texas, across the whole Southwest, up the whole West Coast, and then I went to Europe for 2 months, and now just recently I've been up and down from New York and Baltimore, and I just went through Pittsburgh, Columbus, Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Madison. So I've been all over just in the last couple of months. Only when I toured the U.S. and Europe, it was before Occupy Wall Street had started. So a lot of things have changed in some ways since then. So the feeling in the air was a little different between before and after Occupy Wall Street for sure.
Have you been focusing on visiting Occupy
kind
spaces?
Of. I played at Occupy Pittsburgh. Obviously, I've been involved in Occupy Baltimore because that's where I live. I was arrested at Wall Street, blockading the stock exchange 3 weeks ago. I played a show. I played shows at Occupy Wall Street. I've been up there 4 times, I think, to support that and stuff. And in Minneapolis, I just played a show in the sort of played a show in the living room of a house that's facing foreclosure that's being defended by Occupy Minneapolis. So I haven't visited the Occupies in every city I've been to, and some are like really small and.
So so you've been taking your guitar and singing, and that's kind of what you do. You're a member of the Riot Folk Collective. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and I don't do music full time. When I'm at home, I work. I build houses and rehab houses for money, and then when I'm on tour, ideally, I make enough money just to pay for the tour and not go home completely broke. But that often happens as well, so I mix it up. But as well as doing music, I meet with activists and organizers in the different towns I'm in, and just try to soak up as much as I can where I'm at, so I can spread the word and tell the stories and stuff. And yeah, Riot Folk is, we just turned 7 in November, right around my birthday. But yeah, we're 7 years old, and we're sort of a cultural success and an economic failure of a record label sort of thing. But mostly we're just a group of musicians that like promotes each other, and we do similar things. So yeah.
How many in your group?
There are 9 people in Riot Folk.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are they all also touring? And
no, only some of them. I live with one of them, but no, some are in school right now, and haven't even played shows in a while. Some are doing local organizing. Everyone's very active though, in different regards. Some are herbal medicine practitioners now. Some are starting community centers in their towns. One just had a kid. Yeah.
So you work pretty closely with veterans against the war.
Mm-hmm.
What's the value of the veterans specifically in
That's a great question.
Anti-war?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously veterans have one of the most powerful voices in speaking about war and speaking about peace. And within this country, we don't have a large Iraqi or Afghan refugee population, which is unfortunate because we should, but other countries are soaking that up. But short of that, that's the most powerful stories that we have, and I think that the work that those veterans have been doing, Iraq Veterans Against the War, and groups like Courage to Resist, which is another one, and the group I helped found, which is called the Civilian Soldier Alliance. We've really worked to not only put a new politics on the anti-war movement, but also to inject it with more of a human reality that's kind of less political. It's more based around these people's actual stories and experiences, and it's part of a long, people get they're like, what, anti-war veterans, but it's such a product of history. I mean, every war You look at the civil rights movement, it was full of black veterans who had served in World War II, who'd come back from fighting fascism, and were like, really? You just trained me in war and you expected me to come home to segregated bathrooms? Like, no way. You know, so it's part of a lineage. And the voices of veterans, you know, the just how many authors and thinkers have served in the military and how that's influenced their perspective and stuff. I mean, my new album is dedicated to Howard Zinn, who's like, everyone knows Howard Zinn is this, you know, brilliant alternative political historian, you know, but he also was a bomber pilot in World War II, and that's partly why he was so politically in tune, because he lived with that for the rest of his life, how many people he probably killed, you know. So we're just, you know, it's like an obligation that I fulfill.
Cool. I mean, that's great. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
I don't know. One thing is that I've totally been like feeling really hopeful right now. Like the last couple of months, kind of, I don't know. I went out to Madison during the occupation in Wisconsin at the Capitol in February, and that was right during the revolution in Egypt. Curated a new, and hopefully I'm right about that. But it felt like it back then, and it feels even more like it now. And so I just want to urge anybody who sees this to like participate, go out and participate in the occupations and protests. Like something big is happening, and this is just the beginning of it. So
Thanks for coming by, Ryan.
Yeah.